He's like, all right, it's on your hedge, innit? And I was like, Now, the owner of this property was very upset and angry that this had been done to their hedge. Alrighty then, for a good number of years we've been calling to cut this privet hedge, and it's normally green just like this. But if I show you around the corner, you can see it's been damaged. And straight away, as soon as I saw it, I knew what had happened. And I'm sure many of you can guess, because if you look at the pavement, you can see contractors have been in and dug up the pavement for whatever reason. Now, the homeowner was obviously upset that this damage had been done, but they were angry because they'd gone out and said to the contractor, listen, you've done this damage to the hedge, you've burnt and scorched the outside of this hedge. And they called back a couple of days later and did the same thing further down the line once they extended that trench or dug another hole. So that's why they were angry. The customer had said that basically they weren't interested. They just said, and understandably so, that the hedge was 6 inches into the path and it wasn't their fault, they had to do the work. And I agree. If you're there digging the road up, you just have to get on with it. You can't really worry about it. And we're all the same when we've got work to do. But I'm guessing they could have turned the digger the other way and worked the trench the other way and had the exhaust fumes going out into the road. I don't think this is going to be too much of an issue to sort. It's a load of circular burns in a hedge that obviously I'm going to have to cut that hedge now further back to get into the new growth, and it will green up. And I suppose in a way that hedge then has got time to rejuvenate, and it's further back off the pavement. It's a quiet little path, so it's not going to be used that regularly. But yes, it is overhanging into the path. So this is how it is when we finish cutting it back. So hopefully that will recover. Right, that leads me on to my question of, do gardens and gardeners get the respect that they deserve? A garden is obviously an outdoor space, and if you've got something going on in or around your house, the garden, especially the lawn, is one of the most obvious places to put stuff, to store stuff, and it just makes sense. I get it. But often it's the attention to detail that gets missed, and it's left down to gardeners to clean up mess that they shouldn't be dealing with. That I definitely shouldn't be dealing with a lot of stuff on a maintenance round, and I'm just going to go through a few things that we see regularly, and I'm not on about all contractors, other contractors or homeowners. They don't all do this and totally disregard the person coming in to do the garden, but generally this is what the type of thing that we find. Let me show you what I mean. I'm on a commercial job this morning, and there's some roofing going on. See all the scaffolding up there, can't you? One of those. This is what I'm on about. All this mortar, which is obviously the ridge tiles where they've been replaced, it's been slung in the woods, and it hasn't quite made the woods, so it's left all over the lawn. And I'm not massively fussy with my blades, but what I am fussy with is when I've hit the bits that I haven't seen. There's a chunk. Windows are at deck height. So yeah, I don't particularly care about my blades. I don't run real new blades for that particular reason, but what I am fussy about and I don't like is possibly even replacing a load of windows. If you're going to lob it in the woods, just make sure you get it in the woods. Get a better aim, or get on the grass and chuck it over. Anyway, that's the stuff. Whoa! Here's another bit. I'll do the job up there. That's what I'm talking about. Now, I can pretty much guarantee you that if a skip has been left, say, on a front lawn for builders or whatever's going on, or the homeowner, to fill it with rubble, when I go and cut the lawn, around that rectangular yellow patch on the lawn, which will recover, I don't mind about that, they're not my lawns, the rubble and the stones and all the other bits left on the lawn around the skip is then left for us to pick up before we mow it. Equally, as I've already shown you, when there's roofing going on or contractors coming in, the lawn gets covered with bricks and stones and wood and rubble. Cement mixers are tipped out into borders. I found lumps of plaster around trees, in hedges, all sorts. Like the contractors digging the pavement up, we've all got a job to do, and we're all trying to get it done and get on with it. So yes, there's probably been times where I've had to drag a load of branches and brash through a gate, and I've scratched paint on maybe a gateway. So when the painter and decorator comes in, they're like, bloody gardeners coming in and making more work for me. I do get it, these things happen, but generally I do really think that the garden and then the people who are ever going to maintain that garden are just left to be, it's only the garden, don't worry about it, it's fine. We went to one of our regular lawn cuts the other week and the patio had been jet washed. All the stuff, all the old joint that was obviously blasted out with a pressure washer was all over the lawn. So a 20-minute lawn cut for say 25 quid then took like an hour because we had to kind of rake and blow as much as that stone off because I didn't want to wreck the mower. I didn't want to put a stone through the window. So it's all those types of things that I'm like, oh, here we go. And it's not just people outside of our trade. I've had tree work that I've recommended and people have come in and cut, say, a load of leaders or something off a tree, and then underneath it hasn't been cleaned up. And I'm talking about short lawn. I'm talking about lawn that we're in fortnightly. And there's loads of 3-4 inch chunks of wood left on the floor. And I'm like, well, I got to cut that now. Let me tell you, a 3-inch chunk of little branch will make the mess of underneath a mower. So if you turn up at a property and you got to spend 20 minutes raking a load of gravel because it's been tipped all over the lawn, then that adds to your day. You're not getting paid for it. So I'm guessing it comes down to the individual and the individual company doing different things. Some are very conscientious and leave a clean site and don't leave mess for others to clean up and kind of come in behind them and sort this stuff out. I always remember when I was maybe 20, 22, there was a property near me with a long sweeping drive, and either side of the drive there was a laurel hedge, and I was in there cutting this laurel hedge, spent pretty much all morning getting it done, getting it tidy. And you know what laurel hedges are like? You are using a hedge trimmer, you've got a lot of leaf that's half cut, you've got to go over it a couple of times, what I'm trying to say, to get it tidy. Now the old fella there had said to me that during the day a builder would be turning up to re-concrete in his front step. I was like, fine, I'll make sure that I move my stuff out the way and all that. I cut all this hedge either side of the drive, and midday he turns up with his 4x4 and his big old Ivor William trailer, 12, 14 foot, whatever. As he drove around the drive, the back end of the trailer was pinging out all the hedge. Ping, 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 ping. And it wasn't ping, ping, ping. You could definitely, if he was driving, you'd hear it. It was just ripping it out. He pulls up, and I'm just stood there, and I'm like, mate, you just ripped all the edge out. He's like, all right, it was on your edge, innit? And I was like, when you spent all morning doing something and he's just driven around and he just didn't care. And that was his attitude, it's only a hedge. If he'd put that concrete step in and then I'd gone to see the customer to say I'm done, stepped all over his concrete step and just got everything moved around, and he'd come along and had a go, I said, really concrete step in it. It wouldn't have been the same. I don't think he would have thought it was the same, because getting a concrete step in, you want it level, you want it tidy. A hedge, it's just cutting edge. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you think. I'm sure I'm not the only person dealing with this type of thing. Rubble and bits and all sorts chucked over lawns and all that. Let me know. Anyway, I will catch you all later. Thanks for checking in and enjoy whatever you are doing. And I'll see you again. Catch ya.